Hey, Professor, everyone else. This a spark beyond the end. Um, this will be this will be focusing on one specific soul. In the last question. So my elevator pitch. I'll be adapting, you know, Isaac Asimov's short story, The Last Question, a emotional sci-fi story that is less about the science of entropy, but more about how the people live with it. The storyline, follows with different generations passing through, times, such as lovers, families, and the wanderers. Each of these generations have basically been fighting for their love, loss, and fear, and basically being forgotten because as the generation disappears, um, you know, they hope that they hope that they don't get forgotten, with everything around it slowly fading. So my elevator pitch is: as the universe slowly dies, one question echoes through time. Can love survive with the end of everything? A reimagining of Asimov's stories turns the collapse of humanity into a quiet, powerful fight on memory and legacy, and to hold on to something meaning in the dark abyss. So, as I said, overall, um, my series um, will be, over the billions of years, basically it's retelling the last question through only one person's eyes, which is one soul that basically is reborn again and again through different generations. This soul can be either a scientist, a child, a wanderer, but the same question's always asked: Can we stop the end? Um, Basically, this series, each episode will have something like personal. So, for example, one of it would be a mother trying to preserve her child's memory. Another one is the scientist grieving over a lost loved while searching for answers, or the traveler speaking to a godlike AI in deep space. Um, the series doesn't just explore um, the end of the universe, but it shows how humans, um, you know, have hope, but they also fear. They also have fear when they grow up because they know that everything is slowly fading away and their generation will slowly disappear. You know, um, the AI, which is Multivac, he grows basically with us humans, but he doesn't become smarter. He basically becomes aware of that question: Can we stop the end? So in the end, the universe goes pitch black, and the AI is alone. And he basically gets all these memories of everything that existed, basically every generation that has happened. And he's like gotten like core memories. And he finally he understands, the question. It was never about science, but it was basically the deep meaning, of holding on and beginning again. Trading, just knowing that you will disappear and a new generation will basically pop up. My themes will be basically memories and legacy, love at the end of everything, fragile but unbreakable, time and identity, and the search for meaning. So my actors, Lupita, he will represent the soul. So basically, the soul will be a reincarnation of anyone, I don't know, different forms. Morgan Freeman would be the voice actor for Multivac because his voice is very soothing. James Franco would really fit for the young scientist, as he really fit in the what is it, the Planet of the Apes. That really helped. Zoe, she would be Aveline, which is the space traveler that talks to the AI godlike. So the music I chose. So Max Richter, he had one of these songs called "On the Nature of Daylight." Basically the beginning of the series, it's like not very calm, but it just gives like a a heads up like what would happen in this case. And Interstellar tracks he would be basically in certain series episodes. He give us like a bit of inspiration because some of these scenes from that movie I would take. Radio had everything in its right place. This is when the final human dies. And then for the end credits, it's the Into Deep. Very nice and very soothing as it kind of really just lets you fade in. It's like a fade to the end of the story. My aesthetic vision. So this is interesting because I literally looked certain other movies and Interstellar, this is Annihilation. I forgot these two. But these two had scenes where they showed the interior, which I would love to do the same exact thing. This scene would be basically the ending, which is the middle, and this is just deep spaces, you know, after this scene. So a key scene would be with this episode he called "The Whisper in the Void." In this is the final episode. So in the film, the series final act, the last version of the soul drifts alone in space, and their body is basically falling, like failing. Their mind tethered to a flickering interface of multivac. Humanity is gone. Their scars have died. With the last of their breath, they asked again, can entropy be reversed? And Multivac pauses. Its voice is trembling for the first time. He says, there's not enough data, but I remember you. I remember everything. As the soul dies, by the way, the soul is literally is just gonna be reincarnated again, just with a different mind. So she wouldn't remember everything from her past, just whatever's there. And transitions into pure light, and Multivac is alone again, and whispers in the dark, "Let there be light," as we had in this movie, in that story. I mean, and the screen stays black. Then a single flickering star is born, and that new generation will be like again. The funniest part is this would basically, if I did a series again and again, this would be great to see how if I put focus on, like, let's say the scientist and then like a child and then like some older woman. It's like it would be interesting to see how the scene would be, because that question would be asked again and again. To conclude, A Spark Beyond the End is a powerful sci-fi that explores what makes us humans. So, what makes us human even when everything is slowly fading away? And the last question, from this single perspective of the soul that lives through the time, you know, uh, he basically she shows how um, love, memory, and hope can survive in a dying universe. Um, Viewers will feel for the characters and their personal struggles, even as a big cosmic event unfolds around them. So this series shows that what really matters is our love, remembering and the question asked, because this is what makes us human. In a time when the future is uncertain, A Spark Beyond the End, my series, will give a story of hope, strength, and the idea that even in darkness, something good can still happen. And overall, I would say this film basically just focuses on how the human mind works. You know, the 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 uncertainty that we're in, and how we can enjoy it and no matter what. And that's pretty much it. It's Spark Beyond the End. Thank you.